Ladies and gents, back in the saddle again. Welcome to the Kenny C Show. I'm Kenny C. You will want to hit that subscribe button for those that don't subscribe, because this football content comes every single week for the remainder of the season, and we talk any and all sports on this platform as well. Basketball, football, baseball, hockey, YouTube shorts. I'm consistent with that every single day. Also check out the TikTok at the Kenny C Show. I promise you, you will not make a mistake by hitting that subscribe button. This episode is going to be Week 5 burning questions from the NFL. And the most glaring elephant in the room that I have to start with, the biggest question for the Jets fans out there. I was in attendance yesterday at MetLife, or Sunday I should say, at MetLife for the romping by the Dallas Cowboys, 37-22. The burning question, is it time already to give up on Aaron Glenn? The Jets are now 0-5. Their worst starting record since the Adam Gase era. We all know, for Jets fans, Adam Gase is the equivalent of the devil when it comes to coaching. But the Jets, another lifeless, lackluster, undisciplined performance against the Cowboys team that had, I think, 3 or 4 of their starting offensive linemen that were out. They had no CeeDee Lamb. You should have exposed this team, or at least made it a competitive game. And the Jets got no pressure on Dak all game. 1 sack, just 1 to show for it. They could not stop Ryan Flournoy. It wasn't George Pickens that led the way. It was Ryan Flournoy. And now, granted, Jake Ferguson also had two touchdowns. Nobody could stop him either. Javonte Williams did whatever the hell he wanted. This was one of the worst performances by the New York Jets in a long time, and it's been a collective failure thus far under Aaron Glenn. So my question, hit the comment section, Jets fans, football fans, let me know below, please. Is it time to give up on Aaron Glenn just yet? It does not look good, but I'm going to say no, not yet, and here's why. They've played some really good opponents. Week 1, you should have had a win against the Steelers. The Jets had 4 touchdowns in this game. In that game, they had 100+ more yards than the Steelers. Turned it over on downs, 4th and 3 at the end. Incomplete to Garrett Wilson. Couldn't get that done. They should have had that one. You had the game against Buffalo where they just got smoked. The game against the Buccaneers where Will McDonald does it all and then the Jets defense fails them. And then the debacle against Miami on Monday Night Football. You should have had that game too. Now, the refs screwed them very heavily in that game, but the same juncture, 11 or 12 penalties for 100+ yards. That's not going to win you football games. But here's why I say no. They have some very lackluster opponents, to put it nicely, in the near future. You got Carolina, you got Cincinnati, who does not have a quarterback. We're going to get into that. You got Cleveland, and you got the Falcons. That's going to be the telltale sign, for me, as to whether or not Aaron Glenn is the guy. But thus far, 27th in the NFL in terms of rushing yards allowed per game. 140.4 yards allowed by this Jets defense. Points per game, they're 31st in the National Football League, giving up 31 points per game. Only second worst to the Baltimore Ravens, who have been without Lamar Jackson and their entire defense has been hurt. The Jets defense is largely healthy, and they look horrible. For a guru that Aaron Glenn is on the defensive side of things, he has not showed it. Steve Wilks and Aaron Glenn, they have not showed that they can make this defense, which has talent, a formidable squad. And the offense, plenty of talent on the offensive line. One of the best bright young wide receivers in the NFL in Garrett Wilson. An up-and-coming tight end in Mason Taylor. Breece Hall, they have talent. The coaching has largely failed, in my opinion. Justin Fields, the guy can't throw the ball more than 15 yards down the field. They're not opening up the playbook all that much for him to begin with, but the guy has showed you he cannot make the right read. I watched it on Sunday against the Cowboys. He cannot make the right read, and he cannot air it out. He missed Garrett Wilson in a walk-in touchdown to begin the game. Justin Fields' 0-26 record when opponents score 21 points or more. That shows you 2 things. 1, he has no ability to throw the ball down the field and make up for his team trailing or keep his game in a game by scoring points. And 2, the offensive systems that he's been in have not helped him flourish all that much. Is it time to give up on Aaron Glenn? I ask you. My next question, burning question number 2 from week 5. Is it time to give Dak Prescott his props and put him in the MVP conversation? I would say yes. I know it's early. This is an early MVP conversation. The Cowboys are now 2-1, but Dak, he's been really good. He has been really good. He's second in the league in yards, passing yards that is, 1,119 yards. He's third in terms of quarterback rating, 76.2. He's third in completion percentage, 72.9. He's got the second most yards per game in the NFL, 271.2. If you have Dak in fantasy, awesome for you because he has been fantastic. He has been fantastic. In his last 2 games against the Jets and the Packers, 556 yards through the air and 8 total touchdowns. That's in 2 games, and he's only thrown 3 picks this year. Of course you can throw Matt Stafford in the conversation because he's number 1 in yards, he's number 2 in passing touchdowns, he's number 2 in yards per game. He's the best in passing yards, as I said. He's been awesome too. But Dak Prescott deserves his flowers, especially because the last couple games have been without CeeDee Lamb, and he's allowing guys like Cavante Turpin and Ryan Flournoy to flourish in the offense. George Pickens has been very good as well, so that helps. But Dak Prescott deserves his flowers, especially with all the injuries that he's battled with. The MVP is decided largely by individual statistics and overall team performance. It's still early, 2-1. But if the Cowboys end up with a really solid record by the season's end, this guy, and he continues to play like he's been playing, undoubtedly deserves to be in the conversation. You tell me, do you think Dak Prescott deserves to be in MVP talks in this early season thus far? Let me know in that comment section. My next burning question, Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks, 3-2, second place in the NFC West. Is it time to take Sam Darnold for real? Is Sam Darnold the real deal? Because last year, a lot of people said, well, Kevin O'Connell is a quarterback guru. Look at the weapons that he had around him. It might have been coaching because then you see the playoff game against the Rams, 9 sacks taken by Darnold. You had the interception in that first half. A lot of people were like, yeah, he led the Vikings to a 14-win season and statistically was awesome. But then the playoffs hit and he got knocked around. Now, part of those sacks are on him. And the other part was on the offensive line because look what the Vikings did in the offseason in upgrading their offensive line and getting the 2 former Colts, Will Fries and Ryan Kelly. Now, Ryan Kelly, he's out with a concussion for the foreseeable future for them. But the point is, clearly the offensive line also was to blame for that playoff loss. But Sam Darnold has looked really good, and it looks like he has not skipped a beat since last season. Now he's in a totally new system under a head coach in Mike McDonald that is not known to be a quarterback guru. He has a defensive background. So I think it's time to give Sam Darnold his flowers. Now, a lot of people in the comment section are most likely going to be like, well, look what happened on Sunday. When the game mattered, Darnold threw the interception, which went off a helmet, by the way, and Levante David ended up picking the pass off. Bucs go the other way, kick the field goal, and they win that one. So Darnold throws the costly interception in clutch time, but he was awesome in the game throughout. 28 for 34, 341 yards, 4 touchdowns, and the 1 costly interception. But Sam Darnold, I think, deserves credit because to go from what the New York Jets organization did to him in constant changes at head coach and offensive coordinator and the players around him and all the pressure from the media and seeing ghosts against the New England Patriots on national television and all of that stuff, to be able to brush that off and go to another team in Minnesota, have some really good success during the regular season, make the playoffs as a 14-win team, now come to Seattle, look really good and settled in under a totally different scheme. You've got to give the guy some credit. It's more of a testament to the Jets failing him. The Jets completely failed this guy. So it's more of a testament, I think, to that rather than saying like, oh, well, it's just coaching. That's the only reason why. Because he showed you that with pretty much Jackson Smith and Jigba and Barner, the tight end, around him, the run game hasn't been nearly as prolific as it should be in that Seattle offense. Darnold has largely taken the team under his wing and had some really good performances. He had the 295-yard game with 2 touchdowns and 2 picks against the Steelers. He had the game in which he threw 2 touchdowns. What was that? In week 3. I'm forgetting the opponent that they played in that one. Was it the Giants? I can't remember who they played in that game. But the point is, Darnold has had some really good performances. They lost on Sunday 38-35. But I think it's time to say, from a raw talent perspective at least, give Darnold his flowers, because he is a good quarterback. And they're 3-2, so we'll see how it goes the rest of the way for Sam. But going to another quarterback situation that undoubtedly needs to be addressed, the Cincinnati Bengals. Is it time to panic in Cincy? Because now you've fallen to 0-3 since Joe Burrow got hurt in week 2. The Cincinnati Bengals are in trouble right now. They are 2-3 on the season. They're coming off a loss to the Detroit Lions, in which the game could have been within reach had the Bengals been able to actually move the football and not just get garbage time touchdowns. The Bengals have looked brutal for the last 3 weeks. Now, you look at, since they lost Burrow, a lot of things have gone downhill in that offense. Chase Brown has not been productive at all in that Bengals offense. Jamar Chase caught his first touchdown since Burrow went down in week 2. He has 2 on the season now. T. Higgins the same, his first touchdown since Burrow got injured. Since he's now 2-3. They went 19 straight possessions until that Jamar Chase touchdown without a touchdown. 19 straight possessions without a touchdown. The Bengals need to start worrying. They lose that game to Detroit 34-24. You had the 28-3 beatdown that they took to Denver, so they need to do something. Cincinnati needs to give another quarterback a chance. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Is it time to panic? I think so. Bengals fans, you let me know in the comment section. But you either go to Brett Rippey and your backup quarterback, or you go out and you get a quarterback. Whether that has to be Jameis Winston from the Giants or Russell Wilson from the Giants. I mean, yes, I'm saying Russell Wilson because at this point, if you're Zach Taylor, your job's on the line, dude. You got to start worrying. Start putting pressure on the front office to go out and get you a quarterback, because Taylor's in his 8th season. And I'm not going to say all he's had to show for it, because it's extremely hard to get to a Super Bowl, but he's had a Super Bowl appearance and an AFC Championship appearance. That's it in his 8 years as the Cincy head coach. Now, granted, in a majority of those seasons, Joe Burrow has suffered a significant injury. That's also a testament to the lack of offensive line. I talked about that in previous weeks. The lack of offensive line help that the Bengals have failed to put into place. With all the guys that they get, they're not allocating their money and their draft picks in the correct way, because it's not translated. But the point of the matter is, the fact of the matter is, they need to address the quarterback position. Go out and get Russ if you have to get Russ. And for Giants fans, they're probably like, no way, you don't want Russ. But Chase Browning showed you nothing. So you either go to the backup, you get Jameis, you get Russ, you knock on the Falcons' door and you say, hey, we'll eat the $27.5 million that Kirk Cousins is due this year. We'll take Kirk Cousins. Because if you're Zach Taylor, your job is teetering on a tightrope right now, because Cincinnati needs to turn it around. You got to change the quarterback. And you look at the AFC North, it's a winnable division right now. It's a winnable division. When you look at the state of the Ravens, and you look at Cincinnati being Cincinnati, your only real competition is an Aaron Rodgers-led Steelers team. So you got to get on your high horse right now and turn this season around. And I think the only way they do that is by going out and getting another quarterback, or going to the backup to at least see what you have. Because Burrow's not going to be back till November. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All my football fans out there, hit the comment section and hit that subscribe button. Most importantly, thanks for watching. Stick around for Week 6 reaction next week.